We now move on to the next standalone session titled Empower Your Business to Build Brand and Customer Loyalty by a Unified Experience. And it's my pleasure to welcome and introduce Praveen Mellacheruvu, India Business Lead, Business Applications, Microsoft. Praveen, over to you.
Thank you. Thanks, E.T., for giving me an opportunity to share the Microsoft perspective on customer experience and bringing brand loyalty and customer loyalty together. So I just want to share a few quick thoughts that I had from a Microsoft perspective. So I just wanted to share that video quickly to talk about the world we are in today, right? So we are in a very interesting space where it's not just about just a direct customer company contact, right? It could be a government, a citizen, it could be a doctor, patient. Everything is changing today. And how do you touch the ultimate service receiver or the product receiver in multiple forms and shape and get them what they need at the end of the day, right? And give them the right experience becomes first and foremost. And as a company, Microsoft has been working with many of its own customers to help them on that journey so that they can relate better with their customers. With that, right, I just want to share a small snippet that I just came across a few days back that a customer of ours had shared with me at another event. A very interesting event. So basically, there was this social media consultant who was flying on a plane, and he just randomly tweeted a restaurant and said, "Hey, I'm going to be landing at the airport. It would be nice to have a steak from your restaurant, right, waiting for me at the airport." And guess what the restaurant did? They actually did that. They sent somebody in a tux out to the airport and got him that dinner at the airport, waiting for him at the gate. And obviously, this customer, who's also obviously a social media consultant, he was completely floored, and it just accentuated that experience for him. And obviously, he's going to take that and tweet it further out, right? So that message is multiplied 10x further down the lane. So this is the world we live in, and this is what our customers expect, and this is what they provide. So with this example, right, what I want to do is quickly touch upon how, as a company, how Microsoft views this overall journey, and what is that we are doing to help our customers, and share maybe a couple of examples. So the journey today, again, in this pandemic environment, it's become fully digital. It's about how can customers be proactive and agile. It takes multiple forms and shapes, right? And I'm going to touch mostly on the 360-degree view and insights. I think that is a very key element of what we do in order to understand our customers better and how we serve them, right? It could be through omni-channel, or how do we fulfill the demand, or how do we monitor the way we deliver service. All of that comes in as well. But I'll primarily focus on that 360-degree view and insights to give you a perspective of how we look at it. So for us, our approach is fairly simple, right? So one, how do you help our customers really know their own end customers well? And this is about really getting that knowledge base together. And second, once you bring the data together, how do you build insights on top of that? Just bringing the data alone is not going to help answer anything for you. What are those insights that you can drive based on that data that you see? And the final piece is, again, okay, we have great insights, we know what our customers are doing, but are we able to action on them? What is that we can do, both at the micro level and a macro level? So maybe there is a certain feedback that needs to go to a store or go to a service technician, but maybe there is also something that needs to go to the CMO or the chief sales officer to help them look at maybe segments across the board, right? So that is our broad philosophy and approach on how Microsoft looks at the stack. And how is that going to impact across different functions, right? So it touches across the customer journey. So it could help you inform better on how do you develop leads, or it can go all the way till the service touch point, right after. How do you not only provide service on the products that or services that you've sold already, but how do you do cross-sell, upsell as well? So am I able to bring in insights based on the data where I can impact all the different things that I can do, right from procuring those or bringing in those customers on board, all the way till how I service them more effectively. And just to be clear, right, I'm talking about what is called as a customer data platform. This is not about an audience management platform, right, which is more oriented towards how do I find new customers using online channels. This is primarily about how do I better think about the customers who are already on board, or and how do I serve them better? How do I target them better, more effectively? So that's what this journey is about. So just a little bit of a technology view of these things, right? So the data can come from many different sources. It can be from internal sources of data. It could be even from the social media engagement that you could have as a customer. It could be from data sources that you might buy, right? It could be demographic information and other sources of data that you could buy. And then really bringing it together and unifying it, right? So bringing all those sources of data, and there are different ways to do this, and there are different techniques to do it. And pattern matching becomes a very important element of what we do here. So bringing all of the data together, and then really using AI, ML techniques to help you really drive insights out of that. And then finally, using tools and dissemination channels to really take those insights and take it out into the field. One example that I'll give you here is around having custom built apps, very rapidly built custom built apps using, so we have our own tool called Power Apps, but you could use anything out there. And getting that insight out to, let's say, a salesperson at a retail store, who can then, based on the customer who's come in to the store, they can really look at the database and what is the recommendation, what is the next recommendation for that customer, what is that they have in the queue, what should I be positioning to them, right? Really having that conversation, helping them have that conversation, right? So that's one way you could do that. But there are other ways you can do it too, right? If you have an online commerce presence already, then you can tie some of these insights to that. You can bring that through the web or through mobile, and of course the social as well, right? So many different ways you can take that out. So finally, I will want to end with one customer example that I really wanted to share. This is Chipotle, which is a restaurant chain out there in the US. And they have millions of customers. And what they're really looking to was, especially in this COVID times, how do they really change the way they treat their customer journey? And if you look at that picture on the screen out there, it has a specific meaning, right? And a lot of times, if you notice when you go to a restaurant or when you do a to-go order, sometimes you don't give you a proper name. You just say, hey, my name is Susan, and you don't even give the full name. So you just say Susan, right? So taking data which sits like this, right? Maybe you have some other unique identifier, but bringing all of that data and just creating that unique customer profile for this customer, regardless of the name that they're using, depending on the store that they go to, right? Just creating that unified profile and then really targeting the right sort of offers to them, or really making sure that they fall under the right segment. Maybe this is an office goer who buys burritos only during lunchtime, or maybe this is somebody who's a home customer who goes and buys burritos maybe on the weekends. Really creating those right customer profiles and segmenting them, creating them, grouping them into the right segments so that you can target them the right way later on. That's the type of impact we're having with Chipotle, and not just Chipotle, right? It could be a utility customer, it could be a garment customer, it could be a travel and hospitality customer. This is becoming almost, it's not a value add, it's not an additional feature on top of your regular CRM and regular customer service tools that you use anymore. This is becoming part of an everyday toolkit that industries across the board are adopting, and becoming a lot more efficient and effective at not only reducing the spend that they might be doing, let's say on marketing or other elements, but also making sure that they get a higher uplift of revenue from upsell, cross-sell, or making sure that they get more repeat visits, right? So any of those elements come into play when you're looking to get more value out of that customer base, and really at the end of the day, making sure that they're getting the right brand experience for your own brand. So with that, I'll pause there and return it back to you. So thank you so much for giving us an opportunity to share our perspective on how we look at customer loyalty and the 360 view of the customer. Thank you.